This is Debra Atkinson, and you're listening to the Voice for Fitness Professionals podcast, brought to you by the Flipping 50 Specialist. In just a moment, I'll tell you more about that, but right now I want to know a little bit more about you. So I know you can't answer, but tell me, how are you doing? In your own mind, how would you really and very honestly answer that? Not running into a customer or a client on the street, but literally, how are you doing? What are your concerns? What are you thinking right now? This, as I record, is week 6 of COVID-19. And even if you're listening to this at some point in the future and things are very different than they were at this point, I want you to think back to right now and what you were thinking, and think about how much it may have influenced what happened between this moment I'm literally in and the one you're in now. How did your thoughts or your concerns or your worries creep in to the actions that you did every day? That's really what this podcast is all about. Back to the flipping 50. That's a mouthful. Flipping 50 fitness specialist for trainers who want to make working with women in midlife their niche and want to own it with a hormone balancing exercise method that has worked for thousands of women since 2013. Right now is the time to learn to create content and programs that grow your business no matter what happens in the world. The world right now is at home and online and looking for you. I'll share the link in the show notes to get more details on the trainers and the health coaches that we're looking for to join our team of Flipping 50 fitness specialists. How are you spending your time right now? Fitness leaders, and I mean that in every sense of the word. Those of you who stand in the front of the room and lead classes, who do it one-to-one, and who deliver face-to-face or online or by phone. And to those of you who lead staff meetings and pump up everyone else's tires, even now, when you don't have the answers because you've never had this problem before. Who are you being right now? Scared or scrappy? Are you focused on the problems and how bad it is? What do you talk about every day? Not just out loud, but to yourself. Is it a bigger deal that you can't get your hair and nails done, or that you can't help your clients in their time of need the way they've done business up until now? Fitness leaders get scrappy. They learn to do what me and everyone else is doing right now, and that is pivot. You do that by figuring it out as you go. The answers are there. You just can't look to anyone else to find them. You can't expect to do business now the same way you did before Corona, BC. You can't even expect to do business after it's over the same way you did. So it's time to get scrappy about that fact right now. Those overpacked group classes may not be packed again for a very long time. Those shared yoga mats and TRX and battle ropes spinning by candles may not appeal to your clients anymore. Sanitizing them, even if you can, with those porous materials is not helpful. Not in the world we're in now that is governed by a respiratory illness. What you did 2 months ago and the way you did business isn't relevant now. If you weren't online, you potentially are right now. And yet, are you doing this as a bridge, or are you just doing what you can to get by? This is an opportunity fitness leaders are grabbing to create a hybrid business. Needy or creative? Are you spending time asking someone else for answers? Someone who also has never lived through a global pandemic? Why would you suspect anyone else would have the answers? They are in the same moment you're in. You may be reaching out to them, though, because they deal with stress better, because they're more resilient. See that for what it is and value it, Try to understand why and understand that they don't spend the majority of their time wasting energy on negative content or on online news. They begin to get creative. What if you did know the answer already? What if you got creative with your time right now? Companies that are used to making triathlon kits for elite athletes are sewing masks for our healthcare providers in the front line. Surely you can make some kind of creative changes in that way that you're doing what you do that contributes as opposed to ignores what's happening right now. Create an answer. What if you didn't just try to compete with the noise online, providing another one of those thousands of workouts available right now? What if you stood out? Why would you? What aren't your customers and clients finding that they want? What aren't those millions of people who weren't exercising before COVID-19 and already fit finding? What's not there that they need? Right now, they too are online more. Right now, they still are not potentially finding answers that serve them, who might be overweight, deconditioned, feeling awkward, depressed, and alone. How could you creatively serve them? Are you seeing problems or are you problem solving? If you're focused on the gym being closed, the facts that clients don't want to come over or come to you, you're missing out. If you focus on people not spending money right now, you're seeing problems. You're potentially seeing problems that don't exist right now. Not everyone is not spending money. Talk to anyone. They've likely bought something in the past week that they just wanted. It wasn't a necessity. They placed an order on Amazon or somewhere else, or they added something to their cart that they actually didn't need. There are people who are actually working more and making more, not because they're content collecting unemployment or stimulus checks, but because they have a service or a product that is needed right now and that they believe in. Fitness leaders are problem solving right now. If you see a problem your clients have and you can create a solution appropriate for this time, you have a business model. Your customers' problems now are not the same as they were 2 months ago. Don't repackage it and think that if it's digital on Zoom or Skype that you're set, because they don't really need the same level of workout. They have more stress. They have less sleep. And you've got to factor those things into the workout that you provide them with. Are you working on right now or working on forever? That's a right now answer that won't help you in the future if you're just shifting from face to face to digital. So I understand if you have to get something going right now so you have some revenue coming in, you may have to start with virtual classes and sessions that you can charge for, but go deeper. How can you really create a more scalable service in business? If you see the same kind of client problems regularly and you can help somebody with a low ticket offer that they can use right now, you're much more valuable than that trainer who targets a broad audience. So if you've been told by anyone that you need to have a broader appeal, you've been given really bad advice. You want to have a niche and you want to be the best at it. And if you run a gym or a facility of any kind and you want to serve a broader audience, you need to hire more experts with specific niches in order to do that. If you are in a geographically challenged area with a small population base, then you first need to become the expert in one thing. You can add another area of expertise after that and another after that, but you can't ever again be a trainer for everyone. Every client has unique needs. A working mother of 3 who's a cancer survivor wants a trainer who understands lymphedema first and weight loss second. Even if that's not what she goes shopping for, she needs a trainer who's got her best interest at sight and knows the questions she should be asking before she even knows to ask them. You can't train her like you train other weight loss clients. A woman in menopause who wants weight loss can't be trained like a 20-year-old who wants weight loss. And if you have a trainer who knows the difference, you can sell anybody. Critical or courageous? If you're being critical of somebody who has more money than you right now, stop. You'd love to be in their place, feeling secure and safe. And yet, if you had to be honest, you haven't been willing to do the same degree of work to get there, take the same amount of risks, or lived within your means, not beyond them. There's nothing congruent about the fact that you won't or didn't do what it took to get to that point, whether it was ask for help, learn a skill, or learn how to save and keep your money once you made it. If you say to someone, you don't understand, isn't it true that you delivered the message? You didn't communicate it well. If you said, I'm just a personal trainer, or personal trainers don't make that much money, even if you said it just to yourself, maybe especially if you said it to yourself, then you've got the limiting belief that stopped you. No one else said that. I earned 6 figures as a trainer and director in the middle of the Midwest, in the middle of one of the worst economies we've had back in 2008. You can earn 5 figures working 3 days a week, and I'll link to a recent show with Stu Schaefer in the show notes telling you just how he did that. Everything you have and everything you don't have right now is the result of a choice. Yours. What did you choose? Did you choose to live paycheck to paycheck? Did you ignore your profit and loss statement? Did you spend for support that you didn't keep an eye on closely enough to know it was hurting you? You made the choices based on the facts you had. If you can honestly look back and say, you didn't make the best decisions, don't wallow in that. You can choose again right now to do it differently. COVID-19 is no one's fault. None of us saw it coming. Never in history has this happened. Fitness leaders aren't busy pointing fingers and feeling sorry for themselves. They're productively exploring the problems people have right now and the skills, talents, and knowledge that they have that could provide answers. Who you are as a fitness leader is what will determine your after COVID AC. If you're showing up, asking, and listening to your customers, you can identify ways to be successful during and after COVID-19. Fitness leaders aren't only calling somebody else asking for help, though they're not afraid to ask for something specific. They're calling, offering help and ideas, sharing solutions that could grow into products and to services. And that will feel so much better. Put on your creativity, put on your problem-solving hat. You still have the knowledge and the skills that you did 8 weeks ago when you were doing so well. You now just have to apply them in a different way. You're a leader, so lead. And that's it, my friends. That was your friendly kick in the pants. Just a reminder that all along you've got choices about where you allow your thoughts to go. And this is not about Peter Pan and Annie and Wendy and all of the happy-go-lucky thoughts that if you just sing those affirmations, you'll believe it. Instead of just affirmations like I'm smart, I'm abundant, I have all the money I need. If you really don't believe those right now, don't start that way. 2 wise people in the last 2 days have told me this, and so I tend to believe it. I'm looking for the third because that's really the key. But if you want to do an affirmation that really puts your brain at work, going to solve some problems for you, you ask yourself questions instead of just stating an affirmation, and you make it go like this. Why am I so fortunate? Why am I so grateful? Why do I have so much abundance? Why do I have so much opportunity? If you ask yourself those things, your brain has to go to work coming up with a solution. So, do you see the difference? Instead of saying, I have all the money I need, I have as many clients as I want. Right now, you may not believe that. You're like, yeah, right. That would be nice. But if you ask the question, your brain has to go in search of it. So you don't do any negativity. It all becomes much more positive and creative and provides opportunities and optimism within that. So start asking yourself the right questions and get out a pen and a piece of paper or Post-it notes, wherever you like to write. But start brainstorming on the skills you have right now and the problems people have. And then see if you can match them up, because that is a business model. If you have questions or you have comments, please leave them below the show link at fitnessmarketingmastery.com/fitness leaders. fitnessmarketingmastery.com/fitness-leaders. And I will see you on the flip side.